You may think you know about other cultures and wish to indulge in them with nothing but the best intentions. However, you might be more ignorant than you realize. Oh, but they meant well. They didn't mean to be rude. It happened so long ago. Harmless intent, unfortunately, can equate to damaging impact. Educating yourself and listening to others can help better it, though. This Pepper Ann episode, Dances with Ignorance, perfectly encapsulates our point and something that we can all learn from to just be better in general. While at school, the teacher assigns the class to research their ethnic heritage in celebration of America's melting pot of cultures.
My family can be traced back hundreds of years to the Kanaka Maoli people of the Hawaiian archipelago.
The Lederhosen lineage is descended from the Bavarian royalty.
We are 100% African American.
I can't tell if this is just a dig at the slave trades which uprooted Black and African American folks from their African homes, thus not knowing or making it increasingly difficult for them to find and locate their descendants, or lack of expanding on their culture. What do you mean you're just 100% African American? Okay, that could mean a number of things. That could mean you have roots in an African country and that your family's migrated to America. How come Milo gets to express and go into roots of his Hawaiian culture and the German kid gets to go off about Germany, but nothing for the Negroes, I see. This is what being woke actually is. Noticing the different treatments of Black and African American people versus the rest. While Pepper Ann's family try educating her on their recent descendants of Jewish and European folks, she's looking for something more exciting. Take note of the early pattern of Pepper Ann not paying attention to those actively trying to educate her. What's more exciting than your family surviving a genocide? Being half ET, Avi. Although she does learn from her father they have Navajo ancestry, making Pepper Ann 1/16th Native American. Oh no, anytime a white person learns they have a singular drop of color in their bloodline, it gets weird. Oh, don't be so dramatic. That's what I'm here for. Peppy is a good kid, and I'm willing to bet that she's eager to learn about her heritage.
Of all American Indian tribes to our national culture have been long overlooked.
I totally know what you mean. Where would the Lone Ranger have been without Tonto?
Newborn babies are welcomed into the tribe with this cool blessing ritual called a Hozanihi.
Why does the pure ones disrespect our good earth so? Should I go with the Village Persons Ensemble, or should I stick with the Blando Lakes Butterlove? Seen the pictures of the first Thanksgiving? This is the authentic food of my people. My people are close. 10, maybe 15 minutes away.
They're not due for another 2 hours.
They're 10, maybe 15 minutes away. I'm just glad you followed my smoke signals. I was afraid you might have been lost driving around in your horseless carriage. My TP is your TP.
Actually, the traditional Navajo dwelling is called a hogan, and it's built...
Oh, wow.
You must be something like Tiny Bear or He Who Shoots Arrow with Big Bow. Am I close?
Well, I'm Dave.
Who's up for a little rain dance?
I thought you invited us here to learn about being Navajo.
Oh, totally. I want to learn how to sneak up on people without them hearing, how to give gifts and take them right back again. You know, all that good stuff.
Damn it! Now I owe Clover $5. Oh, the ignorance of a well-meaning white girl neglecting the people around her, just begging to educate her will never not be hilarious. And it's not that they weren't trying either. Milo, Nikki, her family, and even the Navajo family they invited to learn more from. All their attempts to inform Pepper Ann beyond stereotypes were falling on deaf ears because she thought she knew better based on what she consumed from the media. And as well-meaning as she is, it's still terribly racist even though she doesn't mean to be. I can just feel the discomfort of the Navajo family through the screen. Pepper Ann isn't racist, and we're not saying that she is racist. She was just being racist. There's a difference. Again, intent versus impact. Noun versus adjective. At least she learned her lesson in the end, recognized her faults, apologized, and the family was willing to properly educate her. Pepper Ann got lucky though. Most aren't as fortunate. The family had every right to not forgive her if they felt so inclined to, due to how insulted they were. Dave was straight up ready to slam the door in her face.
What's she doing here? Tell Polka moron is.
But thankfully for her, the grandfather, Andy, saw she meant well and educated Pepper Ann to give a proper report and understanding of their shared heritage.
But the best way to learn about any people is to drop your preconceived notions and approach them with an open mind and heart.
I know you all have your own racist skeletons in your closets, and I'm no saint either. I know I've said some ignorant, bordering racist shit myself and caused a lot of harm to those who did not deserve it. Coming from Las Vegas, I was not around a lot of Asian folks, at least until I went to university and interacted with so many different people of vast walks of life. I know I've said some stupid shit my first year to some Chinese students while trying to be as friendly as possible. And that was nearly 10 years ago, but I still cringe about it to this day because I know way better now and how to not act. But I'm still capable of fumbling here and there, but it's my ability to learn from it and be better to prevent it from happening again. But not everyone will be given a second chance or be able to give a direct apology to said people. But at least recognizing where your faults are and choosing to do better is a fine start in my eyes. Because you're choosing to be part of the solution rather than the problem. I'm sure by now you all heard of what's been going on in the amazing digital circus fandom, all this negative energy and whatnot. I know not every black person will accept or even forgive Michael and Ashley's statement, which is fine for them. But for myself, though, as a black person, it's different. From their words, I can tell they knew why it was wrong and they regret it. Though it was so long ago, that doesn't mean it didn't impact or stuck with black folks back then. Acknowledging it and striving to be better is how we can make racists afraid again. Because if no one laughs at these stupid, edgy, and dark jokes, then less people are encouraged to make them. I'd rather reserve my wrath towards those unrelenting racist trolls to make an example out of. But if you want to change and are afraid of being seen as racist, put forth the effort to educate yourself and ask questions. I know it's not necessarily my job as a black woman to educate, but I take that task upon myself because where the hell else are you gonna learn it? You can definitely learn it from interacting with other actual black people and engaging with black media and black content creators too. I'm a very open-minded person and I try to be open-minded and want to think the best in people. But if you have some genuine questions regarding racism or how to not act or how to check yourself, feel free to talk about it in the comments below. I'd love to jump in on the conversation. And just remember, no one's being attacked. We are just trying to correct what is wrong.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Kang of Big Bro Entertainment, making cameos until I fully set up my PC. But anyways, Pepper Ann Pearson. Cool, charming, kinda stupid, PA is a prime example of what it truly means to be a kid with limitless potential, but also fumbles damn near every time she's given an opportunity to show off her stuff. As a leader of the Pepper Ann cult myself, and the first person to talk about Pepper Ann back in 2021, I'm gonna give my 2 cents on the not so infamous, but should be talked about more episode of Dances with Ignorance. Bro, these poor people are trying so hard to be patient with her, especially the mom and the granddad. This shit makes me sick. So, what have we learned? Stereotypes are bad. Generalizing people you don't know is not a good thing, especially based on race or culture. That's a racism, and I feel this episode showcases that very well. Honestly though, it seems basic, but it's told in a very unique way. With how much it feels like the world is turning backwards, this episode is something I feel everyone should watch. Because no matter what you see or hear about someone's culture, based on the media you consume, you don't really know them. But you should be open to talking to them and understanding them through conversation. Because you know what they say about people who assume. It makes an ass out of you and me.
Did Kane just say ass?
The digital circus fandom though. Anyways, thanks for having me on, Artis. I'll hope to see you all on my channel again. Someday.
Oh crap, there's one of them Chinese balloons.
Excuse me, I'm Japanese.
Oh my god, I am so sorry. Please excuse my ignorance.
Hey, just take this opportunity to learn and grow.
I will, Balloon. I will.
If you've been keeping up with my community posts, you'll understand why this video didn't just come out of nowhere. When I made that video expressing my excitement over the Amazing Digital Circus's movie release finale, I was just excited to watch the finale of a series I've been following for years, bought merch of, overanalyzed, and a chance to support a historic moment for indie creation. Not once did it, nor should it ever have crossed my mind that I should be keeping my guard up in case of racism. Most of the time we do have to keep our guards up, but God forbid a black person can't simply enjoy things without ignorant racists to ruin our fun for their own stupid, edgy, dark jokes. Oh, it's always just a joke, but at whose expense? Playing around with words that teeter on sounding like a slur is a microaggression that can build into bigger issues if those aren't stomped out. It's not a big deal. Which I'm sure they said the same thing about slavery, the Black Codes, and the oh so many ways of dehumanization Black and African Americans faced, which include but not limited to using our babies as gator bait, turning us into furniture, experimenting on our bodies for medicine, forcing themselves onto us to make bastards, consuming our flesh and bathing in our blood to preserve their own youth. But sure, yeah, it's not that big a deal to those who aren't affected or know their own history. Now is it? Just as I'm sure it wasn't that big of a deal when high schools in the 1970s and 80s were hosting Slave Day events. Check your uncle and aunt's high school yearbooks. Hell, I bet even their middle school yearbooks. And get back to me about this shit being so long ago. Now, obviously, the level of racial divide has lessened over the years thanks to civil rights activists. And I will use whatever water fountain I may please. We went from being viewed as property to being considered somewhat human with massive differences in strength that could pin down the slim figures of the Japanese and thus fear us so. But just because I'm not in chains and shackles doesn't mean racism got Thanos snapped out of the world. It evolves and takes a new form, so being aware of history really helps identify these forms of racial aggressions. That's what being woke is about, identifying social injustices. But even then, racists mutilated its meaning to be their dog whistle for complaining about Black people enjoying life.
Nigga, did I just catch you having fun?
I'm just tired. I'm tired of others' ignorance making my existence harder than it needs to be. In this rat race of capitalism where we're all just trying to keep our head above water, why would it be harder for me to get work? Why should I be expected to be paid less? Why do I get seen as the aggressor when I'm just standing here? Why do I get assumed to be anything less than human? And frankly, I'm just fucking tired of it. Make racists afraid again.